KITTL has just updated their AI art generator, and you can now use IDEOGRAM 2A to help you generate t-shirts more easily. And in this video, I'll show you how to use it, and I'll also compare all of the different presets they have so that you can save on credits. So first of all, let me show you how to use IDEOGRAM inside of KITTL AI. So you need to open up a document and then head over to the left-hand side and click on KITTL AI. Then choose the image generator, and you want to be in the advanced tab. Now, previously we just had DALL-E 3 and Flux Pro right here as the options, but now we also have IDEOGRAM. And I've had confirmation by the KITTL team that this is IDEOGRAM 2A, so the newest model that's just been released. And I'm sure if there's better models that come out in the future, they'll probably also update that right here inside of KITTL if it's going to be better for us designers. And it's also cool how it says great for illustration for DALL-E 3, great for photography for Flux, and then great for graphic design for IDEOGRAM. IDEOGRAM is definitely one of the best models for t-shirt design, as you're going to see by some of the results. And by the way, this is kind of just these little descriptions are kind of just the thing that these tools are best at, or these models are best at. So you can still use Flux for t-shirts or DALL-E 3 for t-shirts. It's just if you're specifically looking for photography, then Flux 1.1 Pro might be your best bet. But let's select IDEOGRAM right here from the drop down, and now you can enter your prompt up here. So I'm going with a cute Easter bunny playing basketball, just a very simple, straightforward prompt for this example. And then underneath you've got a bunch of preset styles. You can use your own custom style. I've made a video about that in the past, but you can also use one of the 3 different categories right here that KITTL provides to us. If I click on show all, we can see them all at a glance. We've got 3 vector art styles, 6 clip art styles, and 5 typography styles. And these are pretty interesting because IDEOGRAM is extremely good at typography layouts, text-based designs, and it's pretty good at spelling things correctly as well, even if it is a bit of a longer sentence, a longer phrase. It's not always perfect, but it's definitely one of the best models out there in terms of spelling things correctly. And by the way, in a little bit, I'll show you 3 example prompts and results for each one of these styles. So you can then get a bit of an idea of what the actual results look like and which style you might want to use for your current project without having to test them all yourself and kind of burning 3 year credits just to test the different styles. But first of all, let me just choose the cartoon style right here for our prompt and then click generate image. Typically it just takes a few seconds to load this. And by the way, you can also add text to your prompt. Even if you don't have one of the typography styles selected, you could still add a phrase to the graphic, even if you've got the cartoon one selected, for example. And there we go. That's very quickly generated this bunny right here. Looks very cute. And it also pops up with similar graphics in this style, which is really handy. So if you didn't get the result that you had in mind, you also have a ton of other options to choose from right here. If you scroll down, it will load up more and more stuff that's related to your prompt or your graphic in some way. But now if I click out of this, we've got this graphic. It's very simple and straightforward, and you've also got all of these shortcut buttons on the right hand side right here within KITTL that make it easy to remove the background, which you can't really see on this graphic that it has a background, but there is definitely one right here, a little bit of a light gray background. So we'll remove that with this button, which takes a few seconds. And this graphic I think is going to work best in a vector format. So I'm going to vectorize this result. Probably do about 10 colors, something around that range should be enough for this graphic. There isn't really too much here. Bit of purple, orange, pink and white. So let's wait for that to get vectorized. There we go. And now the graphic is infinitely scalable to any size without losing quality. And you can also change the colors very easily because they're in a vector format. So I can click see all 10 colors right here on the right. And then let's say I don't really like the purple outfit. I can then just go in and select the purples right here, change this to a green, for example. Do the same with this. And there we go. Very easily now we've affected the graphic right here without changing any of the other colors in the design, which is what would typically happen or be more difficult if you upscale and have this in a raster format. So let's get into the comparison of the different styles. As you can see, I've got a lot of results right here, 3 different prompts, and we'll start off on the left hand side with a Highland cow wearing a sunflower crown and the text just a little moody in a playful script font. So this is quite a bit of a longer prompt, very specific on the different colors and the style that I want. So some of the styles are going to look a bit similar because the prompt defines a lot of the things that I wanted in the result. But some of the other tests that I did have more simple prompts, so you can kind of see the difference as well there. So we're starting off with the vector styles right here for a Highland cow, and the first one, vector art, I think definitely looks really, really cool. I like the text layout right here. The kind of font style is definitely a very nice script font. And the vector ones, they're all one color. They don't have a background. You can easily just change the color right here, kind of like those retro vintage illustrations. So yeah, that's definitely good. The line art result isn't the greatest in my opinion, but line art isn't really that popular for t-shirt design anyway. So in this case, I definitely prefer the vector art style if you're going to go for a vector result. And then coloring book, this is also pretty decent, to be honest. I like the layout of the text being, or half of the text being at the top, the other part at the bottom, compared to the line art result right here. And the actual illustration of the Highland cow, I think, turned out best in the coloring book results. If you compare it with the vector art one right here, this one on the right is a little bit cuter and nicer overall. So that's the vector styles, all pretty good. Just the line art, I'm not the biggest fan of. In terms of clip art styles, what we've got t-shirt graphic on the left, and that's definitely a neat result, very clean layout. Again, text top and bottom, and generally like the text does look amazing with ideogram. I haven't really had many spelling mistakes. Almost all of these results were only one generation. I didn't like rerun it multiple times in almost all of these cases. So great first try result. Detailed drawing right here, also looks good. But again, I don't like the text being stacked at the bottom, and the cow in this case is quite big and overpowering, a little bit more detailed as well, which isn't always good for t-shirt design, so you don't want it to be extremely detailed. Watercolor, you can definitely see the watercolor kind of splash effect right there, so it's done the style, or it's done what it's supposed to do. But again, I think for t-shirts, that isn't the greatest preset to use, in my opinion. Also in this case, it's a bit harder to read the text, because it's kind of overlaid over the cow at the bottom right here and over this pink watercolor effect. For the cartoon style, we've got another really good result. I like the cartoon one because it makes the graphics look a little bit more cute. If we compare it with the t-shirt graphic, yeah, I think the cartoon, like the cow, looks a little bit younger, and yeah, a little bit more interesting in my opinion. And again, nice layout, very clean. Mascot, for some reason, gave it a bit of a vintage, like sunset, a round one in the background as a backdrop, which looks cool. I don't know why that happened, but generally this looks a little bit more like a sticker with this kind of stroke outline around the text, but again, still a great result for the mascot preset. Photo cutout, I think the idea with that is that you have more of a photo style, which in this case didn't really work because the prompt is very descriptive and yeah, specific with what it wants in terms of the result. So yeah, that's probably why this doesn't really look like a photo cutout, but I mean, with a long prompt, it seems to get decent results as well, which is good to know. So we'll just have all of these side by side for you to compare. I think some of my favorites here are probably t-shirt graphic, cartoon, and mascot. Then for the typography styles here, I didn't use the full prompt. I just used the text portion of it, and I got rid of the the script font idea. I literally just pasted the text, and you've got all the different results here. Groovy, very nice result, love that. And again, and here in this case as well, these typically turn out as one color. They're not in a vector format yet, so you'd have to remove background and vectorize. But because of one color, you can do those steps and then change the color of the design very easily. Because it would just be plain black text. And yeah, this definitely looks cool. Nice layout, nice decorations as well, very balanced. Same for the playful, just a little moody, very, very nice looking effect right here. I don't really love this at the top across the T, because that makes it quite a lot harder to read, but that's something you can also take out with the eraser tool. But yeah, that's definitely a neat one, the playful one. And then we've got hat shape, just a little moody. Yep, that's still spelled correctly. Actually, no, it's missed out one O right here. So I think with a hat one, it's probably going to struggle fitting some of the longer sentences or words into this shape correctly. At least that's what's been happening based on my tests. It's definitely cool to have that preset. and you'll have an easy way to create heart themed designs right here with text within them. But yeah, be aware that it might not always be perfect with the spelling right there. And then going down to the Gothic, just a little moody right here. That definitely looks like a really cool font and theme. It's hard to read, and it obviously doesn't really fit our niche, but yeah, if you're after that kind of style, that's a great preset to use for sure. Chrome effect, this again, it's probably not the best for t-shirt designs, just because it usually has like a lot of, you know, flashing and little details right here that would get lost in the print, but the effect definitely looks really cool, and it's got that chrome style across. This is going to be better for something like a social media post, probably more graphic design minded things rather than t-shirt design specifically. Now moving on to prompt number 2, this one is extremely basic. It just says cute sushi roll with the text role model. So purposely I wanted to now try the opposite, having a very short prompt without much specific styling applied to it, and a misspelled vector right here. That's awesome. So in this case, you're probably going to see a bit of difference. The vector art result is very simplistic, has role model underneath right here, not much of a bigger layout. You can definitely see it's a, well, you can't definitely see, but it does look like a piece of sushi. And the line art version is completely different. That definitely looks very strange. But yeah, I mean, it does want to try and force it to turn into a line art result, so I get that. And coloring book is very simplistic right here, with a lot of gaps in between the lines, so you can obviously color it in. That is the idea. So in this case, we've got quite distinctly different results with a fairly simple prompt, which is worth considering whilst you're writing your prompts. That definitely does make a difference with these presets. The clip art styles, also a bit more variety right here than there was with the Highland Cow, I'd say. The t-shirt graphic one definitely looks really neat. I like that result. Yeah, it doesn't really have the cute feel like I put in the prompt. That definitely worked better on the detailed drawing right here, but in both cases it's actually missed out on the text right here. So the results don't have any text added to it. I'm not sure why that is, but nevertheless, in this case, actually, I think prefer the detailed drawing result. That just looks really cool with the face right there. Almost looks like a kawaii themed result. Less so a detailed drawing. But anyway, watercolor over here does have the text added to it, but again, just the effect doesn't work for t-shirts. You know, you're going to struggle to have any of this transfer well onto a print, and it's also unnecessary having this box around. So the watercolor style again is probably going to be better for other applications that are not to do with t-shirts. The graphic itself though of the sushi is quite good in the middle. Then we've got the cartoon style. That one is quite nice as well. The text is quite plain though in this example, so you might want to be, if you want to have text directly added with your graphic and some of those preset styles like cartoon, t-shirt graphic, etc., you might want to be a bit more specific of what type of font style you want in there, because when I described it as a script font in the first prompt, it actually looked a lot nicer, and here it's literally, I just said text and it looks quite boring. So bear that in mind. Then we've got the mascot. So here's kind of trying to force arms onto the sushi. It left out the text again. But yeah, the style looks quite good. The sushi result I don't really love in this case. Definitely prefer this one on the left. And then we've got a photo cutout. And in this case, the photo style is definitely there. That worked a lot better than with the very detailed prompt that we have with Highland Cow. So if I zoom in here, this is more realistic. Not very useful for t-shirt design, I think, in most cases, unless you have a very, very specific niche. And this style is not going to be very useful for t-shirts. But yeah, interesting result. It also has role model written actually on the piece of sushi on the side right here, which is quite funny. And then we come to the typography models down here. So this was a lot less text to lay out, but role model on the left. Looks all right, looks quite decent. I like how the M kind of comes along the bottom here, but I don't love these little stars that have been added. I prefer this kind of star highlight right there over these ones. But still a decent result. The playful one looks really cool in my opinion right here. Role model accepted, added role model twice. Well, it added it again at the bottom, which again though you can use the eraser that KITTL has added and just take stuff like that out very, very easily. And on top of that, also a very nice balanced layout with these little stars that have been added to it. The M connects to the L down here, so yeah, some cool stuff going on with that. I definitely really like the playful preset. And the hat shape in this case, role model, yep, that turned out good. A little bit harder to see the actual hat, just because on the left we have two L's, which makes it hard to follow that along if you've got it zoomed out. But still a cool result, looks pretty decent. And then we've got the Gothic and the Chrome effect style, which are fairly self-explanatory. I think again, Gothic has to be the right niche. Chrome effect, not really great for t-shirts. And prompt number 3 is a design of a horse with a carriage, and the text, please be patient with me, I'm from the 1900s, and a Western theme and font. And this is kind of in between. It's a little bit more descriptive, this prompt, a little bit more specific, but it's not like a 6-7 liner like the initial one. So it's kind of in between. And in this case, we've got the vector styles right here, starting up with vector art, which looks really, really cool. I love this layout. Also, the Western font definitely comes across. It's nice and simple, very balanced and easy to read. There's no spelling mistakes. It's just, this is a really good result. I love it. So yeah, vector art might be your go-to if you're going to use the vector styles in many cases. Line art again. Yeah, I mean, it did turn the graphic into line art. It does look a little bit wonky. The font isn't really Western. Coloring book. I quite like this as well. It's definitely better than the line art example. Not 100% sure on this effect right here with the text at the bottom, but generally the layout is quite interesting. And then, yeah, we have the style again where you're supposed to color this in. So yeah, it's better for coloring books than it is for t-shirts, obviously. So looking at these side by side, we've got a clear winner with the vector art style, which did a really, really good job of this. So that's the one I would try first if you're going to use vectors. The clip art styles also had some decent results. So t-shirt graphic actually has a lot of orange right here in the text, which was interesting. Matched the graphic, which I like. But please be patient. I'm from the... Yeah, it did mess up right here. That's probably one of the first spelling mistakes from this entire test, which you are going to get. Right, it's still AI. That's not KITTL's fault. It's not Ideogram's fault. It's just it doesn't do long sentences perfectly every single time. AI is still behind on that a little bit, but overall, I think the graphic turned out great and the layout right here. So you would have to rerun that again if you get a mistake like that, or you'd have to try and fix it yourself with maybe erasing parts of this and typing it back in manually. The detailed drawing, please be patient with me. I'm from the, yeah, that's all spelled correctly. There's a lot of very detailed shadows in this, which I don't love. I prefer how that looks on the left, just a plain, simple shadow. Yeah, the text layout, interesting. The graphic is a little bit too large in my opinion, and not enough emphasis on the text itself. So probably, besides the spelling mistake, I'd still prefer the result on the left. Watercolor style did go all out right here, and yeah, it definitely looks cool. Looks like a watercolor result. Please be patient with me. I'm from the 1900s. Again, spelling correct, but not going to be our first choice for t-shirts for sure. That's probably one you want to avoid in most cases, unless you have a niche that is specifically, high demand in watercolor type of designs for t-shirts. The cartoon result right here, actually pretty cool. Looks a lot more girly in this case, made very pink. Please be patient with me. I'm from the 1900s. Probably, for the phrase, don't know if this style would work, but in general, you can kind of see that the result is different, has a different feel to these other presets up here, which are a bit more neutral, a little bit more detailed, not as fun and playful or childish as the cartoon result is. I don't love the text layout right here. The graphic is way too big, but in terms of the style, this definitely looks interesting. Mascot, on the other hand, once again has a lot of this stroke around the text, which we've had before on the Highland car right here. So you see it has a stroke as well. So again, it's not perfect for t-shirts. It feels more like a sticker. And whilst the layout is pretty cool on this, it's a nice simplistic graphic. I think this mascot theme, unless you want an actual mascot and you're not using text in your prompt, then I wouldn't really use this and stay away from it, because I think the idea is that you just want a graphic that looks like a mascot and then has a stroke around it, which that makes a lot more sense than adding text to it. Then the photo cutout one in this case doesn't really look like a photo, but yeah, this is actually pretty cool. Please be patient with me. Yeah, I'll spell it correctly. The layout is nice balance. 1900s is the biggest. So I actually quite like this result in this case. And lastly, typography styles. The groovy one actually looked amazing in this case, and I'm still impressed that pretty much almost all of these results are correct spelling. The stars right here kind of filling in the gaps. It's got a bit of a 3D shadow going on right here. So yeah, this is a pretty cool result. Groovy, definitely worth considering if you want to create text-based designs more easily. That look really cool. Then we've got Playful, which seems to struggle a bit with the longest sentence right here, which is worth considering. I purposely had like a medium sentence, short sentence, very long sentence, and in this case I think Playful is struggling to kind of make it look playful with so many words. Please be patient with me. I'm from the, yeah, it's technically correct. The from is a little hard to read because it's bleeding into the 9 right here. But yeah, overall I don't love this result. It's not bad, but it seems to struggle with a longer sentence. The heart shape, on the other hand, looks quite cool. Definitely looks like a heart. Please be patient with me. I am there. Okay, that's where it struggles as well. I think trying to fit a lot of text into the shape of a heart is going to be difficult, so be aware of that. Also kind of struggled with that with the Highland Cow prompt, missing out one letter. So heart shape is one that's tougher to get right on the spelling accuracy side of things. But yeah, generally it does look cool though. It's a cool style. Then we've got Gothic, which looks nice, but very hard to read. I think generally this kind of style is hard to read. And then if you have an extremely long sentence, that makes it even harder. Still a cool result. And the chroma effect, that is all spelled correctly. Looks really cool. And I could definitely see it working in certain scenarios, just not on t-shirts themselves. So yeah, nice results. Groovy definitely won this one in my opinion. I think overall some of the takeaways are definitely that a longer prompt is going to mean that the results look more similar, whereas in a short prompt you're going to have more variation and the kind of preset styles will take over. And generally if you're designing t-shirts, I hope that you found some of your favorites here. In my opinion, definitely vector art is one of the best t-shirt graphic. The cartoon one is pretty good, and then in terms of typography styles, Groovy and Playful seem to get the best results, or most consistent results that could be used on t-shirts. Let me know in the comments what you think of this new addition to KITTL AI, and if you're going to use it quite a bit in the future, then you're probably going to benefit from watching this video next, where I share some free ideogram prompts.